Hi everybody, thanks for joining us today. This is Ingrid Kerzinger with the Positive Impact Project. Today I have George Thomas who's going to be talking a little bit about his work with us, and if you have any questions feel free to type those in and we'll see if we can get back to you with a few good, smart answers.
I'm a smart aleck,
So there you go. So thank you so much, George, for coming on the show today.
Thank you, Ingrid, and it's an opportunity. People ask me how I am. I say I'm amazing, or I'm too blessed to be stressed. And in the last couple of days, it's been synchronistic city, and opportunity today. Thank you for this. Thank you for you, and I can go into details, but it's just things falling into place. It's so good.
That is the best. It really is. So tell us, George. Tell us a little bit about what you do.
Okay. Well, I get up every morning. Okay.
Maybe for work.
Okay.
I should be specific.
I'm a certified hypnotist. I got training there from Omni in DeLand, Florida, with Cal Banyan also, and Gil Boyne and Gerald Cummings and Ray Hodges, and experts in the field. I'm a certified practitioner of matrix energetics, which is a consciousness technology that people haven't heard of, but that doesn't mean that they're wrong, because no one had heard of reconnectivity until Dr. Eric Pearl said, hey, we can do the reconnection, and some people still haven't heard of it, but doesn't mean it doesn't work. Because remember back, let's say 50 years ago, people go, chiropractic, right? And now it's accepted for insurance purposes, so it's cool. So matrix energetics is a consciousness technology. We work at the quantum level. People have heard of Newtonian physics, or what we studied in high school, and there's quantum physics, and it's different, and no, I'm not going to explain it in 15, 20 minutes or 4 hours here, but it allows change to happen in ways that most folks can't understand. Some people could refer to as miraculous and so forth, and I have witnessed changes in people, physical, mental, spiritual, emotional, financial, relational, etc. So that's one thing that I do. I also do faster EFT. EFT or tapping. People have heard of emotional freedom technique from Gary Craig, who gave us the original version. He has since come out and said that's obsolete and gone to quantum EFT, which you can learn about if you go to his website and so forth. And then Robert G. Smith took his information from Gary Craig on the EFT, injected some steroids, threw in a little NLP, distilled it down, and now there's faster EFT. And instead of for the people that know, even though I've got this problem, tap, 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 20 minutes later, it's boom, 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 boom. And hopefully we'll have a chance a little bit later and to walk folks through it, because it works. And
I know that they use that for people with PTSD, vets and stuff, and that's actually one of the most effective techniques as opposed to regular therapy.
Well, Allopathic Medicine, bless their hearts, they're doing the best they know how and the best that they're trained. And yes, if I break my arm, I'm going to go get it x-rayed. I'm going to see an MD and so forth, and have it said and so forth and so on. However, there are things that nowadays in real life, America and other places, you go see a physician, they say, okay, what are the symptoms? Let's treat the symptoms. And they do. And like if I have a cut, I put a Band-Aid on it, and that's good. And the body will heal itself. But drugging somebody into submission, or simply giving them some sort of chemical fix to where their systems normalize, hasn't addressed the underlying problem. And frankly won't. And like I say, nothing against allopathic medicine. I have a own personal physician. I give them money. So, but
there are so many alternatives now that it's hard to just ignore that. I mean, if you're trying to solve a problem, you might as well look at all the different ways to solve it.
Well, we do some work, and we worked with you a while ago.
And it was pretty powerful.
I haven't met you. Yeah, you guys met me years ago. But we do some work that is out there. Okay, there's the stratosphere, and there's so we do this sort of stuff. But the point of it is, when people have tried everything else, I've been to these, then they finally come to us, and they go, oh, I didn't know that. Well, of course we didn't know. If we knew, we'd have already done it. You know, if you knew that X, whatever, you're a little kid. Look both ways before you cross the street. If you never trained that, and you just go walking out, sorry, right? So the more we learn, the more we know. And just jumping back to EFT real fast, it works on everything. Because to quote my friend and mentor, Doc Vetter, the individual is the meaning maker. So what's behind our eyes, what we look through with our lenses, we're going to see whatever the circumstances are, whatever the thing that shows up is, we're going to view that through our lens, our references, what we've had before, what we're used to, what we believe, our belief systems, and we're going to filter it all through our belief system, and is that okay for me to believe? And the wonderful thing about Faster EFT, Matrix Energetics, Focused Mind Healing, and some of these other methodologies and consciousness technologies is you don't have to believe in them for them to work. And that's pretty cool.
That does make it a little easier for some people, I'm sure.
Well, like I say, if they've come to the end of the rope, so to speak, and I've tried this, and I've seen this, and I went to a blank practitioner, blank, and I'm not disparaging anybody, and I never tell anybody that they're wrong, because everybody views it from their own perspective, and they're not wrong. In fact, I have a YouTube video that says, "You're right, you can get better," which I refer folks to. Not now, pay attention, because she might have something important to say.
I'll have to think about it.
But each of us views things through our perspective, and when folks get to the point where they've tried everything else, and they're willing to, you can say, let go and let God, surrender, try an alternative, however you want to phrase it, then things can happen, which all things are possible. Now, we all heard that when I was a little kid. They said, all things are possible. And I went, yeah, so can I have a job? I went for an interview. The guy didn't hire me. What's wrong? All things are possible. Okay, ow, I got a flat tire. I thought all things all things are possible. They're not guaranteed to happen this afternoon.
Well, all things means things that we don't necessarily want, too.
Everything.
Because all of them are possible.
Speaking of which, this little bonus, well, first I will tell the two things. There's two things. I misspoke. I revise and extend my remarks later. I have permission from Ingrid. But the two rules that you can live your life by. Number one, never reveal everything you know. Okay, so.
Well, it would be a short conversation anyway if I was going to reveal everything I know.
But the wonderful thing that we do is, I know some of you got it.
Just a short conversation.
Anyway. I lost my train. You derailed my train of thought.
I derail. Let's get you back on that train.
But what I do is I work with people. Michael Steltano called it accelerated prayer. What do you do, George? I do accelerated prayer. Scientifically, you can call it quantum entanglement. And you can look that up stuff, and more stuff is on the website that explains this. And I'm not the only one that does it. And the point of it is, Edgar Cayce taught us decades ago that, because if you don't know who Edgar Cayce is, look it up. C-A-Y-C-E, Edgar Cayce, America's Sleeping Prophet, yada, yada, yada. And they asked about God. And one of the things that he said is, with God, there's no time and no space. What does that mean? That means there's here and now. That means from God's perspective, and Einstein said, I just want to think like God thinks. I said, that's not a bad plan. To think like God thinks, no time, no space. So in other words, I can get on a Skype session with a client in India, which I've done, and they get better. How is that possible? Because we're not limited by time and space. Now again, from our perspective, what we know, we have these references, and all I know is, you lay hands on me, I can get better. I've never heard this idea where I'm in my bedroom across the country, and I've got a Skype set up, and you tell me you're going to be safe there. I'm in a situation where if I lose consciousness, I'm not going to hurt myself, and then George is going to do this thing, and then an hour later it's like, man, I'm all better, the pain's gone, this is that, my outlook's changed, yada, yada, yada. How's that possible? All things are possible. And the how, to quote Mike Dooley, is the domain of the universe, right? Have you seen the movie The Secret?
Yeah. Okay,
a lot of folks have seen the movie The Secret. Mike Dooley is the guy, imagine your hands on the wheels. Which brings me to the point. I'm rolling. So, and that is...
It's good. That's what we're here for.
And that is the way, the how part. The how is the domain of the universe. I'm going to jump off. I'm going to bring Ingrid back in. I love you. But I want to throw this out quickly. I got here today in a 4-cylinder vehicle. Okay? It's parked right outside. Now, do the spark plugs fire? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 3, 2, 4. 1, 4, 3, 2. What order do they fire in? I don't know. Is it important? Yeah. If they fire in the wrong order, the car won't go. They've got to work the right order. Do I worry about it? No. Okay? I put the key in the ignition, turn it, and off it goes. The how is the domain of the universe, and so the less we focus on, well, exactly how am I going to find my soulmate, get healed, have more money, cash flow, whatever it is that I'm looking for. And I go, yeah, I think from the end, which is called Nevilleizing, Neville Goddard, quick digression. The point was, we got the how is the domain of the universe. Y'all got that. If you're not, stay tuned or rewind the tape and it's available archived later. Neville Goddard, okay, the power of assumption. Same thing Wayne Dyer said. He said, you want to have something different? See yourself surrounded by the conditions you want to produce. Imagine, how does it feel, Greg Braden, how does it feel to already have what you're looking for? Back to Mike Dooley with his hands around the steering wheel. How does it feel to have your hands around the steering wheel of your brand new car? How does that feel? Feel that feeling. Go to that place. Jesus of Nazareth. Some of you heard of him. His disciples asked him, how do we pray? And he said, when you pray, believe that you receive it and you'll have it. Believe that you receive it and you have it. Oh, it's that simple? Yeah, it's that simple. Not easy necessarily, but simple. Like I say to Wayne Dyer, imagine yourself surrounded by the conditions you want to produce. I thought, you know what, at some point it'll be great to have some sort of podcast or video thing where a lovely and talented young lady can ask me questions and I can just be turned loose on the world.
Here we go.
Show enough.
Let's do it.
It happened. But there's so many examples. People have wanted to desire, they want to work from home, they want a new car. We've done this with a couple of vehicles. Okay, we now drive the Wondermobile. Okay, and 10 years ago, I didn't know this stuff. Okay, 10 years ago, someone said to me, you know what, George, you're going to have acid reflux one day, which is how I came to learn about matrix energetics. My good friend, mentor, and brother from another mother, Ray Hodges, whom I recommend to everybody, was over visiting, and he'd just come back from a matrix energetics seminar. And he said, George, do you have any physical problems or whatever? Something. He said, well, I for the last few days, I've had some pretty bad acid reflux. I mean, it's in the morning. I get over it after an hour or so, but it's not fun. I said, okay, stand up. So I stand up. He gets behind me, doesn't say a bunch of magic words or whatever. I don't see him because he's behind me. And he puts one finger someplace on my back and another finger someplace on my back, and there's silence for a minute or two. And then he says, okay, well, see how that works. And it left. It went away. No more acid reflux. The next day, it was just gone. So I did, maybe I'll look into this.
This might mean
something. Something happened here. So that was 2009. I went to my first level 1 and 2. Did that, yada, yada, yada. Time goes forward. I did the wizard training. I went to practitioner training. Met Hector Garcia, who taught me a lot of cool stuff. Anyway, so here it is. Good grief. 8 years later? Anyway, that was in the past. And things get better with practice. Just like walking. People have difficulty believing stuff. That all things are possible stuff. Yeah, well, I tried positive thinking for 3 whole days, so it didn't work, so I gave it up. And Andy Andrews' 7th decision for success is persist without exception. Because the ones that lose are the ones that quit. Well, you don't know Mike. Of course I don't know you or your situation, or whoever it is out there in Facebook land. You didn't feel that, did you? I did nothing personal, okay? I'm happily married, don't get the wrong idea. But I am having fun.
It's just energy. It's energy.
I am having fun. Anyway, questions, answers.
So how did you get into all this? I mean, where did this all start? Did you wake up one morning and...
Basically, it was the incident with Ray Hodges. He talked about it. I went into that. Now, I've been curious and I've been exposed to information as a teenager. In the Methodist Church in Spring Branch, Houston area of Texas, the guys had this idea of cybernetics, Maxwell Maltz psycho-cybernetics, which basically alludes to the idea that what we think, we're going to show up. Buddha says, what you think about, you bring about. John D. Martini says, what you think about and think about, you bring about. And you do, and you will, and we do. And what if we focus on negative things all the time? Well, guess what's going to show up in our experience?
We know those people.
Okay, we know. Yeah, I'll tell you about my friend Eeyore. But anyway, the beginnings of it were way back then. I had an interest in not necessarily things metaphysical, but I had this idea that, yeah, there probably is something smarter than I am. Well, I knew that. But call it infinite intelligence, source energy, God, whatever, okay? And I would pray from time to time. And then I had an experience in high school and got a glimpse of a different way of looking at things, because it's all what lenses do we wear. It's all what lenses do we wear, and what do we want? Because if we're perfectly content to do, then that's it. You know, as you always think what you've always thought, you'll always get what you've always got, all those sorts of things. But after my dad passed, that was a significant emotional event. Wonderful, blessed event for everybody concerned. I learned so much in that. But then Ray had did that little 2-point with me, and then I went to that seminar, and Richard Richard Bartlett, NDDC, the guy, started talking about quantum physics and alternate realities and how to change things and yada, yada, yada. And even in that first little level 1 and 2, they talked about 2-point, they talked about time travel, they talked about archetypes, they talked about healing frequencies, 21 healing frequencies for humans. And so I studied all that stuff, and like I said, I got certified in 2011, but also that same year, Ray said, hey, you might benefit from learning how to hypnotize. So I started studying some hypnosis. Like I say, Omni Hypnosis in DeLand, Florida, Gerald Kine. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Understanding, and there's a visual, understanding how the mind works. This is my handy dandy thing that you can, it's on the website, you click on the thing, but anyway, it's an iceberg. And it's how our mind works. And once you start learning how your mind works, then you can play with it, right? Okay?
It does help to know how things work.
It really does. So I studied hypnosis. I learned that. Learned some really awesome things and some awesome ways about reframing things. Everybody's had some trauma. I don't care who you are. If your spelling teacher put a red X on your page in the 3rd grade and you took it the wrong way, you don't know better. In your 3rd grade, you don't know. These people are taller than me, okay? They're all authority figures, clergy, teachers, parents, and they tell you X, Y, and Z, and we go, okay, must be true. I mean, they're bigger than me, and they know stuff, and they've obviously been around. Well, they're telling you what someone told them, right? So I start to learn this stuff, and then had, bless his heart, Ray worked with me, helped me reframe some of the things that I've done, and since then, studied some reconnective healing information from Eric Pearl. Absolutely recommend that. The book, if you just get the book, I think it's called The Reconnection Book, whatever his first book. The second book is a little advanced, but get the book. If you just get the book, there's so much we can learn. I went to talk about how in the world you develop. I'll keep rolling here for 4 or 5 hours. They asked me when I went back to work. I used to work in the aviation industry, selling parts and services and so forth. And
helping people fly.
Well, helping people take care of their aircraft. Okay.
And now you're doing it on an energetic level.
I do not work with airplanes. Now, airplane pilots, personnel, sure. But physical stuff, bring that up. I love digressions because it's fun. Matrix energetics specifically, okay? There's a thing called the 2-point. And just like tapping works with anything. I mean, if you're stuck in traffic, you can tap and have it be not as bad. I'll tell you the story. This is, gosh, years ago. We used to live on the San Bernard River, and we did mowing therapy, big riding mower, and had some acres and so forth. Anyway, I knew we were totally out of gas. And we had these little 2.5-gallon gas cans. And I knew we were totally out of gas. And I'm walking and said, well, I guess I need to take one and go into town because it's like miles away to go into town and get some gas. And I did something. And it was a full tank of gas. It was awesome. There's another one, quickly, a cotter pin, because we had a little cart that goes behind the mower. The cotter pin, if you don't know what it is, it doesn't mean you're wrong. But it was stuck. It just wouldn't open. And I got a little frustrated with it. Well, just 2-point it. Oh, yeah, I could do that. I 2-pointed it, and it came off. So it doesn't just work for human. It's energy, because everything is energy. You know, like I said, the movie The Secret, Bob Proctor says, everything is energy. And that doctor, whatever his name, says, well, let me explain to you. There's the universe, there's your body, and everything's energy. And everything is subject to change, and this is a huge one. I learned this because my wife taught me. Everything wants to be of service. Everything. The chair wants to be of service. The little phone wants to be of service. The tripod wants to be of service.
They say that as you get older, the people that live the longest are the ones that still feel needed. They still feel like if they have a pet, they live longer because they feel like they're taking care of something. There's a purpose. So I think we all have that need, whether it's a chair. I don't know if it hurts its feelings that we don't sit in it.
It doesn't feel bad when it doesn't have someone sitting on it.
But you're right. You're right. Everything needs to feel purposeful.
Speaking of chairs, you've launched again something that's really useful for folks to understand. Okay? There's thinking. We talked about I didn't go far into the iceberg. The iceberg analogy has your conscious mind here, the part you can see above the water, and then the subconscious, which is all this huge area underneath, which is all the data we've collected since we came out of the chute. And as if that weren't enough to throw us off and make it hard for us to do what we want to do, there's all the water around it representing the ideas of society, people, other people, so we get steered by the current a lot of times. And you out there in Facebook land, if you made it past puberty, you did good. Because probably all you had was that conscious mind, and 20% of the time we're on autopilot. But anyway, I wanted to show this demonstration because it's such a wonderful demonstration. I do it in my classes because as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. Okay? What you think about and think about, you bring about. But we think things, and Marcy Shimoff taught us, don't believe everything you think. Just because you think it doesn't mean it's necessarily so. Ooh. Well, I heard it on the news. I rest my case. So,
proof enough right there.
Demonstration here, okay? There's a little love seat sofa. It's a man-eating sofa, so it's difficult to get out of.
It's perfect for my short legs.
First thing I'll say is, from this perspective, I see this, and I think it'll probably hold me up. In fact, I believe that if I sit there, it'll hold me up. Now watch this. Now I know it will. And we can move to knowing. That's progress.
By doing.
By doing and then knowing and having the experience.
And it took faith. A little bit of faith for you to just do it.
You had to do it. Another side note, we jumped to Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. The one with Sean Connery playing his dad. Awesome. He's at the end of the movie. If you haven't seen it, go see it. And this won't ruin it for you, but it's a very cool scene.
It's a good movie.
He's, okay, how do we get over to this gap? There's this gap. And there's the cave over there with a, not Earl of Nightingale, what is it? Holy Grail.
Holy Grail.
Earl of Nightingale. Hey, Earl. He came to visit. Anyway, yeah, so I talk to dead people. But they don't really die, so it's okay. Anyway, so this distance, and it's like, okay, how do you get there? And the idea is the faithful man. You got to have faith.
The penitent man.
The penitent man, and he gets down on his knees, and then the things come over across the top of him. And then the faithful man, he has to follow these clues. And it's the faithful man. It's like, okay, there's nothing there, and there's a drop of thousands of feet. And he goes, well, Dad's going to die, and they're going to kill me anyway, so I'll step out in faith. And he takes a step, and
the road
there's
rises
something
up to meet him.
There's something underneath him. And then he gets some dirt, and he throws it out, And sure enough, there's a pathway that's perfectly polished mirrors and reflects the cliff side above him and below him and so forth. And then he walks across there, and the good guys win in the end and all that. But sometimes you just gotta, and it's often in life that we are faced with a have to do the faith thing. Oh, that we could just go ahead and do that, learn some of that without having to be forced into it.
Well,
but
a lot of times I see people coming to me for sessions that have a really difficult time that they're facing, and I tell them what a gift this is, because when you have the challenges, it's the only time that you look up. It's the only time that you ask to connect, and that's when you learn the most. So those difficult times when people don't have a job or they're suffering or there's grief, I just say, hold on to those moments. They're actually quite precious, and there's so many gifts to be found in them. So I don't believe in good and bad. I believe that there's just all these wonderful experiences.
Well, there's useful and not useful.
I think they're all useful. I think it's about your perspective. I think it's about whether you see
ding,
the
ding,
gift.
ding, 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 ding. We have a winner, ladies and gentlemen.
Do you see the gift? And yeah, it can be very useless if we don't catch that gift.
But Abraham says, when people get to be diagnosed as terminal, now they're willing to consider something else.
Yes.
And we ask for help when we're on our last legs or whatever, and we ask. And the rules are, ask and it's given. Maybe not instantly, and certainly not in the way we expected. Ask and it's given, seek and you'll find, knock will be open. If we don't ask, hey.
And we don't realize we're all terminal. We don't realize that we're all on our way to that place, and we don't know how much time we have. So we should be asking those big questions. So, okay. So I know we had a lot of fun with those different subjects. No, I love it. And I hope that our audience gets something out of this today, because we're enjoying it. So tell us a little bit about what you offer right now, what's going on with you, where they can, come see you, find out about you.
Well, the website is www.iwantjoy.com. And there's a calendar contact page. You click on there, it says where we're going to be. We do clinical and remote sessions by appointment, okay? And we do these events in Houston. This Sunday, for example, we're going to be at something, I don't know the exact address, Richmond Avenue, and there's a fair of people who are doing psychic readings and reflexology and those sorts of things, and I'll be there, and other people will be there answering questions. There is a place in Houston, the new Center Point, which is the Metaphysical Matrix building at 2727 Westheimer at Fondren, which will be at some time. And there is a new venue in Spring Branch, which is not that far from the old Center Point, which is now, the new one is called the Tai Chi to Excellence place, and it's at Conrad Sauer at about Westheimer. And we'll be there on the 19th from 1 to 5 doing little mini sessions, okay? When I work with people, I usually try to work with them for an hour, because by the time they get to me, there's a lot they like to get done. But we do the little mini sessions so people can have that experience of, okay, I'm worried about this, I'm worried about this, I got this pain or whatever, and then real fast, when you're working at the quantum level, we just shift. And it's like, how do you feel? Well, I feel a lot lighter. That pain's gone. How do you feel about that? Finances or whatever the question was. I think it's going to work out. Shift the mind. That's what we do. That's not all that we do. But the physical pain is usually real simple. Sometimes it's not. Everybody is different. This is the point that I try to get across to everybody. If they come see me or anybody else who does the similar work that I do, everybody's different. The wonderful thing about matrix energetics, it's not a one-size-fits-all. I don't do manipulation like chiropractic or massage, okay? Well, why do you have a table? Because some people get emotional. Some people start laughing. Some people start having their fingers tingle. Some people, oh, I'm falling. So if they're lying down, they're not afraid of falling. Mm-hmm. And what we want to do is move that fear out of the way and let people experience the feeling of being safe.
And relax.
Relax. When you can relax and say, okay, I'm safe, maybe just for a little bit, I can let go of all the reasons why I can't be healed, and all the reasons that I know that my finances have always been bad, so they're always going to be bad, because that's all I've experienced up until now. 3 magic words, up until now. But that's some of the stuff we do. Again, the website has more information there. I've got a Facebook page. Thank you, because this one has a Facebook. In fact, some of you are watching on Facebook right now.
Just go over there when we're done.
But anyway, that's some of the things that we do. And we present information to folks. I've got been teaching a class on any number of things. But again, it's at the website. iwantjoy.com. Tells where we'll be and what we're doing. But we just love it. I'll also refer folks to ORI, the Ozark Research Institute in Fayetteville, Arkansas. They do great work. Harold McCoy taught me focused mind healing. What's that? Well, Benjamin Bibb and Joseph Weed wrote a book back in the last century called Ancient Secrets of Psychic Healing, I think. And that's one of the course requirements, basically, to learn that. But there's people who do things, back to the all things are possible stuff, that people didn't used to think was possible. For example, J.P. Farrell. Here's an investment for you. For folks, there's folks watching this, there's folks that have embarked on a career or a path that they think, I'd like to learn something about energy healing. I'd like to try some of this. Maybe I can go to Matrix Energetic Seminar. Maybe I can go learn reflexology or whatever else it is that they want to learn. This guy, and it's documented, folks, has a practice up in the Northeast where he does what you could call plastic surgery without tools. He changes things. He allows things to change. That's what we do. We allow things. I tell people, is God on your team? No, I'm on God's team. Okay, call it source energy. And by the way, God doesn't get mad if you call her by the wrong name. Okay.
I like that.
But
he can stay.
learn stuff. Learn stuff. And as you learn stuff, you begin to understand that you don't know much. And the only person I can't teach is the one who already knows. Mm-hmm. And every once in a while they come to you. And people resist. I've never heard of this. Well, you hadn't heard of chiropractic before it became popular. You hadn't heard of germ theory until you hadn't heard of walking on your hind legs until as a baby you saw those other people doing it. You said, I'll try it. What the heck? Right? So
scooting around was fun, but let's start walking.
And you can do it is a message to folks out there in Facebook land. Mm-hmm. You can do it. And yeah, it takes work. You got to persist without exception. I don't know if you've seen the movie Doctor Strange. Mm-hmm. Just recently.
I saw it a couple times.
Yeah, me too.
It's really good.
But there's one real cool thing in there where the ancient one says here, he says, it's not working. I can't do this. Here's what you have to learn. Surrender. Okay. Mm-hmm. There's another scene earlier in the movie. He says, well, how will I ever learn this? Well, how'd you learn to become a doctor? Mm-hmm. Years of study and practice. Yeah.
When I was young, I got frustrated because I kept having a plant and the plant would die, and I tended to overwater it. And I finally one day asked my mom about it. I said, I just don't understand. I can't keep these plants alive. And she said, that's not your job. She said, you have to just allow them to live. Wow. To support them, but their life is not your responsibility. Whether they live or die that's their journey. And it was profound. It's the idea that we can support each other, especially in this type of work, but it is still up to that person to make that change.
You're not somebody else's.
Do it.
You're not somebody else's savior. Somebody already did that. And that's a tendency. We start, look what I can do. I can lay hands on somebody and they get all better. Ooh, that stuff's flowing through you. One of my first Skype clients was a lady in California, asked me about her mom, who was in India, who's a Reiki master. And she was having all kind of back problems. And we basically looked at her, because like I say, time and space aren't any kind of barrier. Went over there and looked, and she was doing Reiki, but she was gathering stuff and then using her own energy rather than letting it flow through her, and it was creating problems. Well, we helped her get better, and she's referred as, I don't know how many, I got a lot of clients in India, because Kamini, I used to call it Kamini, it's pronounced Kamini. Anyway, she won't mind me telling this, but referred to folks, but to allow it to flow, to understand we're conduits, okay? And it's not our job to take somebody by the throat and make them get better, okay? Because I've wanted to more than once, right? Okay? But like you said, it's our job to allow. And if folks will allow, the phrase God is love is not a fairy story. God is love is not a fairy story. Period. End of story. There's a lot more to it. And understanding what those words mean. What do you mean God? You mean source energy? You mean the creator of the universe? You mean ultimate consciousness? You mean creative consciousness? You mean the global collective? It's involved, okay? But it's a short term, and most people think, oh, up here. Well, that's we're thinking linear. Same thing with time. You get born, over here, you die. Not today, I hope.
And, you know, I think that it's wonderful that you're doing this work and that you're sharing all of this with us today. I really appreciate that. So tell us, is there anything in the future that that you have, like a vision for yourself, something that you want, or maybe something that is going on that everybody should know about?
Sure. We're doing more work. We're doing more work. We're getting more clients are finding out about it. Like I say, talked about my synchronicious life, things falling into place. Things have fallen into place. I'll give you an example. It's just this Sunday. We're all set up to go to this place, which we go to these events in Houston on Sundays and help as many people as show up. And it fell through. Like that. We had another venue to go to, which appears to be, haven't been there yet, appears to be a larger opportunity. But what we're doing more and more is having Skype sessions. My lovely and talented wife, who's a secret, okay, is getting more and more clientele as people are finding out. As people find out that it's okay, that's good, and yes, there are people, believe it or not, car salesmen are not the only ones that will give you inaccurate information. Really? Really, okay? And yet there are folks who, I'm just going to tell you the truth, and you're going to view it through your lenses. We all look at things from our perspective, okay? And chiropractic, okay, well, fine. It's not for you. Then what I do is not for everybody. By no means is it for everybody. And I don't tell everybody, come here, I will fix you. There was one point that in my career or life that I did. So, I know I can help you. Come here. Okay, sure. Go ahead. Okay, yeah. You done? Okay, thanks. Okay, because that's called resistance. And it's okay. It's okay because not everything is everybody. For A Course in Miracles. A Course in Miracles is wonderful. I spent a year of my life dedicated to doing that, and I found it useful. I have a good friend who, this is not right. This is not, it says you, I'm not, don't take it personally, okay? But as we do whatever it is we do, look at there, Wayne Dyer just showed up. As we do whatever it is we do, we keep doing it, we keep doing better and better, and yes, we are moving toward a situation where we will have a clinical setup that will make it easy for people to find us, okay? But the point of it is, if you're not limited by time and space, definitely not limited by space, and energy is energy, and we can impact it. The butterfly effect is called the dependence on initial conditions. What is it called? Anyway, Andy Andrews can tell you that. And I recommend his 7 decisions for success. The dependence on initial conditions, the butterfly effect, because something happens here and then there's ripples. This thing that we're doing right here, ripples, because somebody's going to watch this next Tuesday. Okay, they have on board. Oh, what's that? Positive impact factor. Okay, oh, who's that goofy looking guy? Well, let's see what that is. And they're going to watch a little while, and they're going to hear that up until now. In other words, and they're going to snap to, my past doesn't just have to be a repetition of what I've done before. I've always had problems with X, Y, or Z, but I don't have to anymore. You mean the future's not set in stone? No. You mean you don't have to know what are the spark plugs firing? No. You mean you can just think from the end and see yourself surrounded by the conditions you want to produce, and watch a Neville Goddard lecture, or listen to a Neville Goddard lecture every day at lunch, or read some of his writings, and or study this or study that, or come see me and get better.
Well, thank you so much for sharing so much today. And, you know, I think that if you are looking for something different, if you are on a path where you feel stuck, I highly recommend you go see George. And again, his website
is www.iwantjoy.com.
Straightforward.
And if you're a fan of Joe Dispenza and don't have this book yet, You Are the Placebo.
Nice.
Okay, awesome, awesome. Because he's more of a scientific Institute of Noetic Sciences, Edgar Mitchell, yada, yada, yada. Brain scans, put all those little dials to say what's going on in the brain, what level is it, okay? And then going on to find out, and then that finds out whatever it finds out. But in the book, he talks about his story and what he did and what anybody can do. Like in the movie The Edge, Anthony Hopkins and that other guy, what one man can do, another man can do. And what one woman can do, another woman can do. And yada, yada, yada. And like Henry Ford said, if you think you can, or if you think you can't, either way, you're right.
Mind over matter. Thank you so much, George, for coming on today. And everybody, if you have any questions for him, if you want to go ahead and send these in even after the show, yeah, you can put in comments or send an email. And again, you can find George Thomas on Facebook. So thank you guys all for tuning in today. Thank you, George, for coming on the show.
Thank you.
And we will see you all next time. Bye for now.
Been fun.